Yo, what's going on, guys? PlasmaMichael here, and I'm back with another video, and today I'm reviewing 7 Deadly Sins Origins. So I've been waiting for this game to come out for about a year, a couple months now, and basically I've been playing Grand Cross, so I'm familiar with Netmarble and type of games they're going to be releasing, and this game is, a bit different from what I expected, I will say. So let's get into the first part. So the first part I'm going to talk about is their pity system, and I'm not going to talk about like the graphics or the beginning of the game till later, because I think this is a big highlight for most gacha players. So first off is the pity apparently does not carry over. I don't know if this is false, but based on what I've read on Game 8 and some reviews, it doesn't carry over. On top of that, guaranteed SSR is 80 pose actually, and then a bonus hero is at 120. So that's pretty typical for most gacha games, but at the same time, the pity carrying over is not that common. So I played Arknights Enfield recently, and the thing that turned most players off is the pity not carrying over. So obviously, depending on whatever player you are, it's not that much of a big deal. For me, I don't really pull like that unless I want to. I don't like just, pull just to build pity. But I know other people might just, want to pull on banners, build pity beforehand, and then, risk it. But for this, you kind of basically have to save up all your pulls in order to guarantee who you want. So there's no risk taking in a sense here, but you basically need patience, and I know with a lot of gacha players, it's very hard to come by. But yeah, being able to carry pity over is not possible in this game, which is a major turn on for most. For me, it's not that much of a big deal. Alright, so next up we have the combat system. So actually, I am pretty impressed with the game's combat system. I might be taking a bit too far or a bit biased, but it'd be crazy for me to say that this might have one of the best combat systems. So the only reason why I say that is because of the character's uniqueness. So basically, each character has 3 types of weapons that they can, build, and by using that specific weapon, you could change up their whole playstyle, which is very new in my opinion. I played a lot of gacha games, Wuthering Waves, Honkai Star Rail, Genshin, and I haven't seen anything like this before. You just pull for the character's weapon, and that's really it. But then for this game, you could run all sorts of weapons. Like you could run a heavy axe, then a heavy sword, and then like nunchucks, for example. And it really does make your character more versatile. And on top of that, team building. I will say team building is not that diverse so far. Right now, in the point in the game is monotyping is the most common in the game. I don't think mixed teams are even good right now, but I can't really say much because I haven't played up to that point yet. But yeah, basically with mono teams you have a lot more synergy. By using ultimates, what I've noticed is you can also follow ults with other ults, which I find pretty cool. You don't really see that. I think in Wuthering Waves you kind of do see that. It's like when you could combine all the abilities in that one dungeon. But for this game, it's like if you build up enough stacks by using like one of your ults, your other champion or character could follow it with their ult, which I find also pretty cool. On top of that is this game gives every characters 2 skills and 1 ult. That is a major difference. I don't know about you guys, but a lot of games you literally only get 1 skill, 1 ult, and obviously that is pretty good to work with. But the fact that this game gives you 2 skills and an ult with follow-ups, it does allow you for a lot of versatility or whatever to do whatever you want and mix up your combat playstyle. And then on top of that, there's also dodging in this game, which I really enjoy. Genshin obviously is a bit outdated. It laid the foundation out for most gacha games, but I don't like the fact that there isn't dodging in Genshin. You can't just really burst down everything, or like it's either you fight or die. But in like Wuthering Waves, for example, in this game, dodging is like a major mechanic. One thing that this game doesn't have, obviously, or I don't think so, is parrying. Parrying was a major thing in Wuthering Waves that made me love it and made it have more risk and more skill to it. This game, however, it's more you could just dodge, but at the same time, I do like the dodging aspect in this game. Alright, next I'm going to be talking about is exploration. So exploration is actually pretty neat in this game because you could actually get like a a glider and then like a little kind of mount to go on. And I know every gacha game basically has that. It's nothing new to open world gacha games. But the fact that some characters have uniqueness, like King for example, you could just dash across like land basically with his ability, which I find like pretty cool because most characters in other gacha games can't really do that. and by having King, you could just really dash over it and not have to use your glider. It gives you like another, like, you know, type of ability to use instead of just relying on one specific thing. But I will say I don't like about this game is the dashing mechanic. It feels a bit iffy and not polished. You can see in a clip here. And honestly, you could just like spam it without delay. Like other games, there's like some sort of like a millisecond to 1 second delay, but like this, you could just like straight up spam it. But the animation does not feel smooth, in my opinion. It just feels clunky. Like every time you dash, you just move the scenes back into place. I don't know. I don't really like it. But if you just look past that though, exploration on this game is pretty nice. The map's pretty good for release. I haven't explored all of it yet, obviously, and honestly, I think there's a lot of bosses that you could do right now. I think there's currently 5, so the game does have you hooked up on exploration. You could do taming, fishing too, crafting. So, you know, there's a little bit of replayability here in the beginning of the game, but I've heard a bit of problems that came up with people, and that's optimization. So next up, I'll be talking about is optimization. So I don't have a problem with it personally. I played the game on lowest graphics though, so I can't really talk much. But for some people, I've heard that this game did not even boot up at all for them. They basically loaded up and had a pretty, I don't know, bad release. They couldn't just run the game properly. It would crash on them, or like the anti-cheat system kind of just shut them down. I personally didn't have problems with that, but some people also experienced like playing for multiple hours and then just suddenly crashing. I think honestly this does have a bit of a optimization issue, obviously, but I think it's something you can look past for now since it's just released. Hopefully Netmarble fixes this soon, because if they don't, then I feel like this is gonna be a major driving factor. A lot of people aren't playing this game only because of that bug, and by fixing that bug early, then Netmarble could, you know, get all their players back if they want to. But at the same time, it's like this bug is just, it's a small bug, easy to overlook, but depending on how much Netmarble's team is gonna be on it, depends on how much players they're gonna get. Alright, so finally, this is my thoughts. So this part might be a tiny bit longer than the rest, but for what I see, some people do say this is a Genshin clone, and I'm not gonna lie, I haven't really played through the beginning, so I won't talk as if, you know, I played this game a lot already, but it kind of feels like it has the same story. You basically load into a vast grass field, and then a dragon attacks the city. Same kind of plot to Genshin. I think it is a bit different though, I don't know, but yeah, it's kind of like the same there. And then on top of that is like, I don't know, the story's not that interesting in my opinion. The beginning is not like very, I don't know, it doesn't have a lot of combat, and you might just say like, oh, I'm action hungry, and I mean, I could agree with you on that, but based on like, you know, Wooden Waves and Arknight's Enfield, maybe I have a higher expectation for these games. But those two games really gave me, you know, kind of like what to expect in the beginning, because having something that could hook your audience in the beginning is like a very good factor that you want to have in your game. But this game, man, I don't know, just seemed pretty boring. It's like in the beginning he was just explaining the sins. I mean, I get that, you know, just to catch up on the lore, and then they just kind of dive into a tree though, you know, it's nothing really special. And then for me playing this game in the future, I mean, we'll see. Honestly, I'll play this game a tad bit more over this weekend, but as of now, I don't think it's something I could actively get hooked on. Like, two games I got hooked on early were definitely Wuthering, Honkai, and Arknights. Arknights and Honkai I dropped relatively fast, I won't lie, because both of them I beat their stories within like a couple of days. And that's low-key just an overplaying issue though, and that's on me. But Wuthering Waves is one of those games I could return back into, but it has poor storage optimization, so that's a kind of bad game. But that's besides the point. 7 Deadly Sins Origins is pretty good. 22 gigabytes on release. I don't think that's a lot actually. Compared to other gacha games, I think this is relatively low. Correct me on that in the comments, but from what I remember, I swear other gacha games were way more, or like a tad bit more. Secondly is the future of this game, in my opinion. So I know Netmarble. I played 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross for years, and I'm not trying to, you know, glaze myself for it, but I was pretty decent at it. And basically it's like there is a lot of power creeping, I will say. Netmarble has this tendency to basically release an OP character for an anniversary, right? I remember playing Michael when he first came out, and I was like, damn bro, this guy's tough or whatever. Then boom, next thing comes out. I think Demon King came out after Michael, actually. Maybe I'm wrong. But when Demon King came out, then holy, you just kind of remove Michael out of meta. Michael was low-key in meta for a bit, but at the same time, it's like he low-key got power crept on. Like another example is when Dark and Light first came out. It's just they destroyed every attribute in the game. I mean, when the Dark Meliodas first came out, I remember seeing it. I was like, damn, this is so cool. But like, if you didn't have him on your team with the Pure Darkness team, you would genuinely lose. And I think that might be a problem for this game as well. So my biggest fear for this game is that it will also have a power creeping issue, because in gacha games it's like, okay, 7 Deadly Sins Green Cross was a bit more forgiving in my opinion. I low-key got through most of the story with the same team, but as time went on, I got stuck. I literally could not move on until I pulled for a whole new team. And with this game being open world and exploring, I think having multiple versatile teams to do bosses and stuff too on top of that is very important. So I hope that Netmarble learns from their lesson of Grand Cross, and they're not so greedy with the aspect of, you know, having this already tedious pity system, and on top of that make it like, you know, kicking characters out of meta. So I hope they don't do that. And on top of that, I hope they're more generous with their pulls or whatever, because in the beginning, low key, from a lot of other Steam comments too, or like just PlayStation players, seeing that they're not pretty generous with their gifts in the beginning. Usually most gacha games you get a 10 pull, but this one I'm pretty sure you'll get 1, which is not good at all. So, you know, hopefully they fix that. But other than that, in my opinion, 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross, I had a good free-to-play experience. I literally did not have to spend a single dime, and I got really far in the story. I got really good guild, and I built most of my characters. So honestly, I think Netmarble won't be too bad in the free-to-play aspect. I think maybe just now in the beginning, people might think, oh, not a lot of pulls, so they might quit. But for me, I think if you like push through in the beginning, I think Netmarble will release a better quality update, and hopefully, you know, remove all these bugs and clunkerness of their graphics and stuff, because I know people also had issues with that. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed my video. If you guys want, I could review other games and, you know, test them out. I'm a big gacha game player, but I'm open to trying out other new games. And yeah, glad to see you guys, and see you guys next time.